Hey, good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I'm Ken Walls and I'm your host. And man, I've got a dude on today that is actually a friend of mine. He's a new client of mine. And I don't know his whole story, so I'm pretty excited about this. I want to welcome my good buddy, Billy Merritt, to the show. Billy, welcome.
Hello, sir. Thanks for having me.
Man, I'm excited. You outdressed me, dang it. I need a tie on.
Well, you have on the sport coat though, so I think you're the more fashionable. I'm old school shirt and tie.
Yeah, man. I started this show a couple years ago now, and I started it to give back to the world. A lot of people get stuck in life and they stay stuck and they don't know how to get through. And I really believe that it's inspiring to hear other people tell their stories because look, nobody's perfect, man. We all get stuck, right?
Hey, man, you got the non-perfect one. You got the perfect guest for the non-perfect show. I can promise.
That's awesome, dude. So let's start with and I say dude a lot. I'm known for dude. I hope that doesn't offend you, man.
Not at all, man.
So let's start with telling everybody where you were born and raised.
I'm a South Georgia boy, man. You can probably tell by that Southern accent. I'm from the South. Douglas, Georgia. We're really close to the Florida line, the Georgia-Florida line. So
that's awesome, man.
Born and reared in Douglas, Georgia.
Douglas, Georgia. So, is it a big town?
It's small, man. We probably have 25,000 people in the city and probably 40,000 in the entire county.
Oh, wow. So that's a little town.
Yep.
Does everybody there know who Billy Merritt is?
Yeah, I'm pretty well known, but here's how I approach that. I think it may have been Grant that told me that if you want everybody in your hometown to know what you do, make sure everybody in the country knows what you do. So I approached it that way, and I didn't focus on them. I'll tell you that much.
I'm with you, man. So you went to school and high school and all that down in Douglas, Georgia.
Yeah, man. Product of the public school system. Went to college for a couple of quarters, I think it was called back then, and I went to work. I was not a good student.
I can totally relate to that. Did you growing up though in a small town? Because I'm from a small town, and we'd get bored as kids and get into some things we probably shouldn't have been getting into. Did you get in any trouble as a kid?
Man, I stayed in trouble, man. I was trouble to my poor mother. I put her through the ringer for sure. And I have 4 children. The youngest is 13 and so far so good, but I have not received the payback that I put her through, and I'm thankful for that. Yeah, I was definitely found all the trouble that I could stand.
The principal had a special chair in their office just for you, right?
Yeah, when I made it to school, I stayed with him.
That's funny. So you went to college for a couple of semesters or quarters or whatever, and you said this ain't for me. I'm going to work. What'd you do?
Man, I went to work at a trailer plant. So here in South Georgia, we dominate the world. We supply the entire country with mobile homes and cargo trailers. So I got into the biggest industry here, which was construction of mobile homes. And, it was back-breaking, hard work. It was good money at the time. I was 18, 19 years old living with mom. And, it was just, you go to work, get some money and party. That's how I approached life for a little while. And then finally started growing up and finding some other things to do that were more productive.
Yeah. So I mean, did you built the trailers? You were on the assembly line or
I was on the assembly line from constructing the walls, the floors, the plumbing, car, everything. Yeah, I was the builder of the mobile homes.
Wow. And how long did you do that?
I did that probably 2 or 3 years. And then when I got into well, actually, I did that before college, and I said I want to go get some college. So I started college, and I said I'm tired of college, and
Yeah.
so I found I always had an entrepreneurial spirit about me. And at one point, I opened a car wash in the middle of December. It was free. It was 32 degrees outside. And I was 21 years old, and I decided it would be a great idea to start a car wash. But here's the cool part, man. I started calling on the car dealers in this little town. There were 4 of them.
Yeah.
There were the 4 brands: Chevy, GMC, Ford, and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep. And I got all 4 of them to send me their trade-ins, and we would detail them. Had a pretty good little business, but it didn't take me very long. Once I seen what those guys were doing on that showroom floor, I said, I can do that, and I want to do that, and I'm tired of washing cars. So I sold the car wash, and that was in 1995. I sold the car wash, and I started selling cars, and that, and then from 95 till now, all I've done is wash cars and sold cars.
Wow.
Yep.
You don't know this, but I used to own a car detail shop in Marietta, Georgia.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
Look at there,
Yeah.
man.
About the same time. Little bit before you. I think I might be a couple years older than you. But yeah, it's about the same exact time. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So you started selling cars, and that's something else I did. One day I sold cars at Marietta Jeep. One day. I only got one day. I took somebody out on a test drive, and I don't know if you remember back in the day when they said the Cherokee would flip. People were scared of that. And so this guy and his wife come in. He's like, I said, I don't know if it'll flip. Let's go give it a shot. and I got in trouble for that. So I just said, I'm done with this. That's the only, but they bought the car, but I got in trouble for the way I let them test drive.
It's all about the results, man. If you bought the car, you should not have gotten in trouble.
I got in trouble. So I just said, I can't deal with this. So I left. But anyway, that's my only experience. How did you do though, when you started selling cars? What brand did you start selling?
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep.
Okay. And how did you do with it?
So I remember the very first car that I sold. It was a 1995 Dodge Neon. It was a green Dodge Neon. I was excited because I sold a brand new car, and they had used cars over here. And I sold a brand new car, and I got my commission ticket voucher back then, and I made $100. And I wasn't sure what was going on. I thought you sold the new cars and made the most money. Found out that wasn't the case. But I quickly found out how this thing worked, man. And it was all about providing people with something that they already wanted. I was like, this is the easiest thing in the world. So it wasn't long, man. Within 8 months, I was already moving up in management. A couple of years, I was a sales manager, then a finance manager. Ended up being a general manager, ended up owning my own dealership. And, I loved it, and I was very good at it, but I always struggled with the small town mentality. And I knew there was a better way to do things way bigger. And so I just butted heads with every manager, every owner, partner, everybody in the car business. I butted heads with them because I knew there was a better way. And I finally got into the vendor side of things. Now, there was a couple of dealers along the way that did it the right way. Yeah. Some of them that really do business, and they know who they are. So they do business with me now. And those guys know how to do business the right way. It was hard to find those people. I said the talent pool for salespeople in South Georgia is very shallow. So, but we helped that, and I was able to recruit people who had never sold cars. We did several turnarounds for some dealers, and then we got into the vendor side of things, and here we are, with software and lots of other things.
Yeah, yeah. My wife's on here, by the way. She loves
I like that. I like that lady.
Yeah. You like, we just went through a timeline there pretty quick, but you started doing well with the cars, but you butted heads. And again, I can relate to this, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs can relate to this. And that is, you get into a job and you butt heads with the management or whoever, because like most entrepreneurs, you're like, man, I know there's a better way to do this.
The status quo. A good entrepreneur is going to always butt heads with the status quo, but
Right.
it's good to be king. So the status quo, he's not wrong necessarily. He wants to protect the way things are, and because he's the one getting the most reward from it. So when an entrepreneur steps in with a new, better way, it's just natural. He's going to butt heads. Very rarely will a status quo jump on board with the newest, best, and most effective way. They want to remain king.
Do you know my buddy Tammy Woodard down there in Georgia?
I do know Tammy. She's commenting now, isn't she?
I love Tammy. She's a client of mine too. I love her.
Do you know Reese Walker? I see he's on here.
I do not know Reese.
Reese, send this guy. You may have to unfriend somebody. Ken, if you unfriend somebody, it'll be worth adding Reese Walker. He's a local guy that I hired into the car business, and he takes 10X to the whole new level.
I love that, man. I love that. So Reese, we'll definitely connect. I get unfriended by somebody every day, Billy.
I do too, man. Absolutely.
I like to make waves.
At some point, we unfriended each other. I'm not sure how that happened, but
I don't. Did we?
Well,
I thought we were friends.
We were friends, but here's probably what happened. I'll go through and do a deep purge, and I probably thought you were a different Ken, and just I definitely would have never intentionally unfriended the Ken Walls.
Well, I wouldn't have unfriended you, dude. So anyway, we're friends now. It's all good. So let's talk a little bit about, because I want to get into what you do now. But I also want to talk a little bit about, because you just mentioned something that I think a lot of people need to hear.
Okay.
And that is the 10X mentality.
Mm-hmm.
First, we both know, most people watching know where that came from, but Grant Cardone, the 10X rule. When did you start following Grant, and how has it impacted you?
Man, that's an easy question that I know the answer to, and I had the details to. Okay. About 9 years ago, I was surfing YouTube. I was a sales manager or a GSM at a store, and I was searching some sales things on YouTube, and I remember it clear as a bell. The video's on there, stop selling and start closing. And I saw this guy talking to me, and the words that he was saying to me, they went deep, man. It reached in there and grabbed some part of me that I knew this is the way it needs to be done. He knows what he's talking about. He was speaking to me. It was like an evangelist said, this is my guy. I was, okay, I'm in. So I remember it, man. And everything he said in there just resonated with me. And it's so cool. On that video, he talked about getting attention and finding somebody that you wanted to go to work for and getting their attention.
Yeah.
I did it that very night. I started tweeting him. At the time, he had about 100,000, maybe 200,000 Twitter followers, about the same amount of Facebook followers. And I started sending him friend requests. I started retweeting him. I started tweeting at him. I started tweeting his wife. YouTube comments, and I finally got his attention. And I soaked up everything that he told me, and I put it into action. Well, that's been 9 years ago, and I've been banging on Facebook and banging on Twitter and all these social media platforms that he said was important. While I was being laughed at, I was being scoffed at, I was being made fun of, I was being ridiculed. But I remember he said ridicule is a good indication of you're doing the right thing.
Right.
So finally, I got his attention. I got on a call with him. We sent messages back and forth, and I got a contract to go sell Cardone on demand, and actually got to work for the guy that was my mentor for a while.
Oh, did you really? I didn't know that.
Yep,
wow.
Yep.
Did you go down to Miami?
No, I was one of two people in the country that actually dialed in. I did my phone calls every morning at 9:30. I got to call in, and we role played from 9:30 to 10 every morning. Me and Jared Glant, he ran the meetings, and there was a lot of guys there. Natasha was there at the time. A lot of people, and I was one of the few who got to dial it in and do my calls and do my training from the field.
That's freaking awesome.
Yep.
That is awesome. Getting that man's attention is not easy, but once you have it, man, it pays off for sure.
Yeah.
So wow. So many people say, because same exact thing, man. I hired a new salesperson, and he was, fresh out of the Marine Corps, and I was like, man, I mean, I was a sales trainer at one point, but I ain't got time to train a sales guy. I'm busy in my business making sales on my, and all that stuff, right? I don't have time. And that's how I found Grant, man, was on YouTube looking for some kind of sales training that I could plug this kid into. And I ended up buying from Todd Straw. Do you know Todd?
I remember him. I don't know him personally, but I remember him.
I ended up signing a $36,000 contract for Cardone University just so I could get salespeople trained. And it's best decision I ever made.
Hey, I just, even though I've been through the ranks, been through all that stuff you're talking about, I just signed a $48,000 contract with COD because it's that valuable to me to get my people trained. And
it is, man. You what?
And I'm a trainer,
Right.
No, I'm a trainer.
Right. It's unbelievably important, man. And I totally get, I agree with you. We are like, you're like my Southern brother or something, man. I swear. So, and we've talked about that offline, but so you had 10X surging through your veins. You work for Grant for a little bit. How long did you work for him total?
Just a few months. So, I mean,
okay.
with all the respect and all the relationships and all the admiration that's due him, I just found it easier to sell my own stuff because I sold my own products, 100% learned from the master, and use him to I'm like I say, I'm in a $48,000 contract with him right now. So I just found it easier. I like selling Billy Merritt and Billy Merritt's products. I'll promote and Caleb Wilson just commented. Caleb worked for Grant Cardone Training as well. Cardone U changed his life. And man, if you allow me to jump ahead real quick,
go ahead, man. Go anywhere you want.
I'm gonna preach for a second, okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna preach about relationships. Okay.
Preach it.
The relationships are the most important thing that we can get. Caleb Wilson and I met through Grant Cardone, and now Caleb is my business partner, and I know I'm jumping way ahead, but we are impacting and changing the car business in a major way. Work with over 1,200 dealerships across the country, and the only reason that is possible is because he valued my relationship, I valued his relationship, and we understand the value of investing in relationships. So, guys, if you don't do anything else, make sure that you invest in relationships, man, and there's nothing more important.
Nothing, absolutely nothing. So, and I agree 1,000,000%. So, okay. So you left, you stopped the Cardone thing you stopped selling his product. Did Billy Merritt, like what you have, did it exist yet? Or were the software and everything that or was it, nothing. You left Cardone, and did you have anything to fall back on, or you just said I'm going all in on something else?
Well, I've always loved promotions, and I've loved event selling. So I sold direct mail to dealers all over the country. Had some success. And when I was going, I would present COD to them, Cardone on Demand, and heck, if I couldn't do that, I would sell them some direct mail. So I found a very good product in the mail, and I said, hey, I'm going to take what I've learned, make some big offers and some big claims. And we developed the most effective mail piece in the country, had a lot of success selling that. That there really wasn't a backup plan. So, but as mail got stale, we saw a need for something different. And so we went all digital, and then I don't know, I don't know how quick you want to get into that part of it.
Get into it, man. I want to, and let's stop for a second and talk about, because Billy Merritt wasn't sitting on millions of dollars when he left the Cardone thing. Billy Merritt wasn't, I don't know where you were financially, but I'm going to make an assumption that you weren't weren't doing as well as you are now. Maybe I'm wrong.
No. So what happened is I got back into retail because mail got real stale, and traveling the country is not that as fun as it sounds, right? So I got back in retail with my idea that I was going to buy into the dealership that I was working at. So in order to do that, I had to bring the best products in. Okay. And so we went all digital, and I was, even the money I was making, I was reinvesting to try to make this thing even better. I was not, man, I was, it's JOB stands for just over broke.
Yeah.
At that time, I had a JOB and I was just over broke. And, you know, we took the dealership from selling 15 cars a month to selling 60 cars a month. And I recruited some awesome people, and I got some awesome relationships in there. But when the owner and I got into a disagreement, I'm the one who left without a job. Okay. So I had no money, man. I mean, I'm going to tell you what, I was down to my last few $1,000s. And when I knew I had something special with what we had developed there, though, with the Facebook sales events. And so and we'll talk about that in just a second, but I was certain that I had something special. So I took my wife and I took our last $5,000 and I bought a plane ticket to go to Kansas City, because that's the only place I could find a dealership that would allow me to come in and do this crazy thing called the Facebook sales events, which everybody's doing now. But I was the pioneer of that. And I went all in with it, with all of our money. And I spent all of our money on the Facebook ads, on the hotel rooms, on the flights out there, went all in, man. And no, I didn't have it. I mean, that was all I had.
Have you ever, you know, I've told this story a couple of times that, you know, when my wife and I got our first office after Jill and I met, we got an office probably 2 months later, and we quickly started scaling, hired some employees, and, you know, sometimes you make bad employee hiring decisions and whatever. I mean, it is what it is, but everybody was getting paid except for me. And one day, one of my employees walks in my office and he says, Hey boss, there's a guy out there peeking in the windows of your SUV. And I said, well, tell him to get the hell out of here. He goes, well, I would, but he's got it blocked with his tow truck.
Oh, man.
That was a bad day, man. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm getting my car repoed in front of all my employees. And I couldn't talk the dude out of it. So, you know, have you ever been like that in a situation where just you feel so desperate that you just don't know what end is up? Do you know what I mean?
I do. Somewhere in my DNA, though, I'm an eternal optimist. I mean, unwavering. So even, you know, when I was driving a $2,000 car to call on car dealers, say, hey, I'm the guy with the most effective product in the car business. You know, against all the odds, I kept an overwhelming sense of optimism and hope, you know, with a little bit of faith. You know, you have to have a little bit of faith. You're not willing to do those tough things, but yeah, man, I've been there, and it wasn't long ago.
Yeah. And, you know, so for the people that are watching this or will watch it or will listen to it, what kind of advice do you give people that are, you know, just barely hanging on? They don't know what to do.
Okay. Well, first of all, write your goals down. You know, whatever it is, if you're in a difficult situation, you need to take stock of where you're at and write down what it is that you want to do. And you need to write it down with all the faith you can muster up and all the optimism you can muster up. And then you just got to take massive action, man. You got to just go all in. You got to find a way to solve the problems. You got to find a way to do 10 times as much as you think it's going to take, because it is going to take 10 times the effort that you think it's going to take. And you just got to never give up. That sounds cliche, but you got to go all in with a nothing else matters attitude and be willing to make the sacrifice. Because if you're doing the right thing, you're solving problems, it's going to come back to you. There's no way around it. That's the law of the universe.
That's the truth right there, man. That's the truth. So you found yourself in Kansas City at a car dealership. You spent your last dime getting all this thing put together. What is, for somebody like me that doesn't know the car business, what is a Facebook sales event? What's that mean? What did you do? And
Okay.
you created this, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
in the mid 1990s, there was a group of people. There's a little bit of discrepancy about who started the super sale, who started the staffed events and the direct mail. Back then, it was easy to put flyers in newspapers, and you'd have 200 or 300 people show up wanting to buy cars. Well, as it goes, people would just copy and copy and copy. The market gets saturated. In 2008, it all but stopped. The super sales was very tough. Made a resurgence in 2015. It kind of peaked after 2015. Mail got really stale because of the internet, all these digital things, and then social media. And I'm the first guy who said, we're going to do an all Facebook event. So we replaced the direct mail with Facebook ads. And then we had, people answering the leads, setting the appointments. And then I was there on site, meeting and greeting the people, ask for Buyback Billy. Well, guess who Buyback Billy was? And it worked. People showed up. They were also running direct mail. More people showed up to see Buyback Billy than they did to see if they won their $2,000 gift card or whatever the gimmick was, because that's what direct mail is. It's a gimmick. People come in, and then the great salespeople have to flip them. You have to flip them into buying a car. Well, I targeted people who want to buy a car. Come in if you want to trade your car. And people came in, and we sold a lot of cars, and that was the beginning.
So with the what's the Buyback Billy thing mean? What's that mean?
So, in any good advertising, you need to have a compelling or an irresistible offer. So what I did is I used Kelley Blue Book's, their method of go ahead, appraise your car. And I said, hey, during this 5-day event, we're going to give you $4,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade-in. That's how we took over the market in Douglas, Georgia. That's how we knew we had something special. And that's what I took to the marketplace. Buyback Billy, 4 days only, $4,000 over KBB for your trade-in. You don't want to miss it.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
That's how we did it, man.
Buyback Billy. That's got a nice ring to it, like the 10X rule.
There you go.
That's awesome. So you did this in Kansas City. I don't know how the money flow part of it works. I'm sure the dealership paid you something for your hard work.
Not in the beginning. In the beginning, I got paid commission on the cars I sold. I had all the expenses. I had to prove myself in the marketplace. And then once the dealer saw, hey, what's this thing this guy's doing on Facebook? What's this Buyback Billy thing? And then I was able to say, okay, hey, here's what it is. You're going to get 7 days of it, and you pay this. So now we had a business model. Now we had a product. Now we had a process, and now we had, something to sell.
Wow. That's incredible, dude. So what happened from there? So you were in Kansas City, you made some commission, it sounds like. Did you make some money at least? Did you come out ahead?
I made about $1,000, right? So when I got back home after spending all my time and money being there and doing these things, my wife was like, what are you going flying all over the country to make $1,000? You can go to work selling cars and do that. So, I said, check this out, Ken. I said, I'm not doing it for $1,000. I'm doing it for $1 million.
Oh, snap.
And I was the only one who really understood that, right?
Yeah.
That was what it was. It wasn't for 1,000. It was for $1 million. So it was a slow start. But back to the relationship thing, I had to call someone that I'd met years earlier and say, hey, man, I want to bring this product in there. And luckily we had such a good relationship. He said, Billy, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Facebook sales event, but sure, come on, bring it. If you're going to pay for it. I said, yeah. So he said, come on, because if you're doing it, I'm in with it. I'm good for it. So that was a relationship. Michael Carson is the guy who allowed me to come to the first dealership, and hopefully he'll watch this at some point. Bobby Boland's on here. Increased my website visits 550% in 1 week. Bobby Boland, someone I met during the direct mail days, who now we built a relationship with. But it started out really slow, man. You got a new product that nobody knows what it is. Nobody's done it before, and you got to take it to the marketplace.
Yep.
I'm from South Georgia. Who is this guy telling me he's going to come in my dealership and increase my sales? I don't need this guy, right? But I started breaking in. I started getting in little opportunities. It took about 6 months, and I called my buddy, Caleb Wilson, who was on here earlier. I said, Caleb, I got something special. Well, Caleb's a salesman. I'm a salesman. We have been pitching each other our entire lives. I would buy his product. He bought mail from me. I would buy geofencing from him. You know, I was at a dealership. He was a vendor. I was a vendor. He was at a dealership. And then finally he said, okay, Billy, let's try this thing. And when Caleb saw that it worked, he was able to open up his network of dealers. And as they say, the rest is history, but it's really just the beginning.
Now, is this something that you do for just like new car dealers, or is it something that you can do for used car lots or any kind of how's that work?
Bobby Boland has the biggest used car lot in Bobby will have to tell us which Indiana. It's some city in Indiana. He'll correct us in just a minute. But it's for new or used, man. Anybody that sells cars, it's the most effective way. Listen, here's the thing. Out of the 330 million Americans, over 250 million of them have a Facebook account. I mean, that's where we're broadcasting now. So we just take our message to where the fish are. You know, Indiana.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's new or used car dealers, but
wow.
I'm strictly in the car business. We've had other people. We tested it in some other markets. I said, you know what? There's 40,000 dealers in the country. I'm not worried about furniture. I'm not worried about trailers. I'm not worried about these other markets. I want 10,000 of the 40,000 and we'll be fine.
He said, that's it. I just
it.
want 10,000 of them.
Yeah, we're good. Give me 10,000 and you can have the rest.
That is hilarious, dude. So how long when did you start that? What year was that?
Early 2018 was the first ever all Facebook sales event. And then by October of then it was a big thing, you know.
What year?
2018, man. 2018. Well, 2017 was the first ever in the local markets, but it went to market. This thing exploded in 3 months. We were doing onesies and twosies, you know, 1 a week, 2 a week. At very early on, our office was a GMC Sierra pickup where one person would drive. Hank Youngblood, I got him to come. Joey Arvidson, he's my VP of sales now. I got him to come, right? So I talked 2 people into my dream, okay?
Oh, my God.
And Hank would drive. Joey would sit in the back and answer leads. I would sit in the front and answer leads. We would get there. We would talk to the leads. We would appraise the cars. We would sell the cars. And then we would call dealers on the way home and say, hey, man, we got the most effective product in the car business. We're doing this over here at this dealership. You should let us come do it for you.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And so, and now we've got 60 employees, you know, I mean, it's 70 workstations. It's, you know, we're doing 40 to 50 events per week.
Per week?
Per week. We do 120 to 140 events every single week. And hey, that's just us. Now all these copycats, they're doing a lot of them too. You know, they're doing them from their kitchen table, you know, but they're doing them.
What's better, a kitchen table or a pickup truck?
Well, the pickup truck is the best because that means especially when it's a fresh idea.
I know.
You're going to get plenty of copycats and bring them on, man. They can't compete with us now.
I love it, dude. So you're okay. Wow. I got chills, man. Seriously.
Thank you.
You're the somebody on here a minute ago called you the OG. Like you're the OG of this, man. And you've taken the 10X thing to a different level, man. Like you're literally dominating an industry.
Yes, we are. We're changing it, man. We absolutely dominate social media. The social media, we're the pioneer. I'm the pioneer of the Facebook sales events. I'm the original. I'm the buyback Billy, you know, but the thing is, because of the 10X mentality and because Caleb's been baptized in it and Joey's been baptized in it and Hank and everybody who came in from the beginning, we're all duplicating ourselves through our salespeople and through our connections and our relationships. You know, we've dealt with over 1,200 dealerships. It's probably 1,500 now. Sarah's on here. Sarah Stalker. She's she's basically my vice president of all things. She's on here.
Amazing, by the way.
She's amazing. She can tell you. And Jonesy Jones is on here. He's out there on the road. Caleb's on here. Bobby Bolin. All these people who've done business with us or either work with us, and we have 10x this thing. And you know, we've done business with 1,200. We want 12,000. That's the goals. That's how we set our goals.
Wow.
And early, by the way, man, we hadn't even had time to talk about it. But when we started doing this, I saw that there was a big need of how to communicate with these people, you know, through Messenger, through text message. This is how you and I got together. You sold me your services through Messenger and text.
It's true.
I created a book called The Art of Text Message Selling.
There we go.
The Art of Text Message Selling. This is the first ever manual on how to talk to people through text message, how to give them what they want, and how to get what you want, which is an appointment. And if you don't know that it's an appointment that you need when you're talking to somebody, then you definitely need to buy the book.
Dude, I teach this to like speakers that get on, you know, stages and stuff. I'm like, because I use Textful. You can text the keyword book to a certain number and you get my book for free, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why is that? Why would I give away my book for free? And you already know the answer to this, because then you're in my text message marketing list.
Yeah.
And you know, and I'm sure this says it in your book. I haven't even read your book, right? 100% of all text messages get read.
Right.
Is that right? Is that accurate?
That's very accurate. They may not answer your call. They probably won't. They may not answer your email. They probably won't. But if you watch, as a matter of fact, I have Mr. Wonderful. There's a YouTube video of Mr. Wonderful talking about my book, and he says it plain and simple. He said, what Billy Merritt's doing with text message is special. They may not answer your phone, but when you hear ding, everybody looks at their phone, man. They're going to read it. So if you're using the right steps with it, it's going to be effective.
Wow, man, that is so powerful. So talk a little bit about that. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
So this is the first ever manual. This is the very first. We ran the very first Facebook sales event, and this is the very first manual that has been written on how to communicate through text message, exactly step by step, the 23 steps that you need to know, and it is very effective.
Dude, and where can they get your book?
Amazon. You can go to Amazon, just type in The Art of Text Message Selling. If they will send me a message on Facebook, I can send them a personalized copy. You know, they can PayPal us or Facebook us the money. You know, I would like you. Yeah. I basically give it away. You know, if you'll pay for the shipping, I'll send you the book. I want this information in 40,000 dealerships. If this good information, because you know there's good information and there's bad information.
Yes, sir.
Don't listen to the dumb people, man. And a lot of people are dumb. Get the good information, double down and triple down and 10x down on the good information.
Yep.
Plug it into your daily life. Use this. I don't care if you secretly buy the book and you don't want to know, you don't want me to know. If you don't like me, you still need this information. And
I agree.
If you'll use this information, it'll change your business. It'll change the way people do business with people. If you use this information, people will stop what they're doing to come do business with you. And that's a win for everybody, even if you steal a book.
So, you know, and that's, let's talk about that. So you were doing these Facebook events. I mean, because look, man, they're not related.
Right.
But they are.
Right.
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 Like text messaging and Facebook sales events are not related, but they kind of, they build off of each other. Right. Yeah. Talk about that. Where did the whole text messaging thing come into play and the concept for this book and all of that? Okay.
So, when we're communicating with these people, we're using Facebook Messenger, and it's not SMS, but it is instant message, right? So it by some definition and by my definition, talking to someone through Facebook Messenger is a text message. It's at least messenger selling, right? So if you're sending messages, digital correspondence back and forth to someone, these 23 rules need to be applied. So what we did, we started answering these leads in the beginning, we answered these leads from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the afternoon. We were doing all the work. As our team grew, we got some very smart, talented people involved that had some BDC training and some call center training. One of my guys said, hey, man, we need to step this up and start answering these leads to 10 p.m. So from 7 a.m. in the morning till 10 p.m. at night, 7 days a week, we have people answering messages. They're texting, man. They're communicating. It's instant messaging back and forth. So I saw very quickly there has to be a standard. There needs to be a way. What's rule number 1? What's rule number 2? What's rule number 3? What do you have to do every single time? And then what are the common objections? What's going to be coming up so we know how to answer and we're ready.
What? Okay, so just let's put a little teeth, man. Give me a couple of the rules. What is rule number 1?
I'm gonna do something for you right here. I'm going to make anybody that wants to a master messenger by giving them 3 rules. Okay.
This is good, y'all. Hey, if you're not taking notes, you're one of those stupid people he was just talking about. I'm just saying. I ain't judging. I'm just saying.
Hey, thanks, Abby, for sharing the book. So I'm gonna give 3 rules. If you'll follow these 3 rules, you'll be a 1%er in the sales department, whatever your business, whatever your industry.
Oh, look who we got on, dude.
My man, Dave Robard.
Dude.
Hey, Dave's coming into the office and he's going to train my people. And he was so cool. So I'll get back to the 3 rules. Man. After I talk about Dave. Go ahead. Well, I got to tell you a story about Dave. So Dave is a trainer and a national sales manager with the Grant Cardone. Yeah. And I was walking through the NADA meeting or the NADA convention in Las Vegas, and I had a dealer badge on. So everybody was pitching me their stuff. And a couple of the younger and newer salespeople from Cardone, they approached me and said a couple things, and then I saw Dave and I said, hey, Dave, man, I need to sign up with your program. They're like, what? They were like, what? so cool. Dave said, yeah, man, he's a sales trainer and he's going to fly down and pick us up and bring me up there. And so anyway, it's all about relationships. I built a relationship with Dave a long time ago. And when it was time to get my 60 people on, or actually we got 40 that's going to be on the program, I reached out to Dave. So Dave's a superstar. If you're not friends with Dave or follow him, make sure you do.
Love Dave Robards. I'm with you 1,000%.
Okay, so I'm going to see if this passes Dave's standard, okay? Because Dave is a certified sales professional. Here's the 3 rules. If you will follow these 3 rules when talking to somebody through Facebook Messenger or through text message, if you'll follow these 3 rules, you will be a 1%er. Now, I don't know what the 1% of the people, the top 1% makes in your profession, but in the car business, that's pretty good. Now, I primarily deal with car dealers. So rule number 1, make a big offer. Make a big, compelling offer. Make your offer so irresistible, they want some more information. So what's a big offer? In the car business, it is receive $4,000 or $5,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade-in. And I can teach you the process of how to make that a legitimate offer. Okay, so make sure your offer is compelling. Ken can say, I can develop you the absolute best and most beautiful and most interactive and user-friendly and intuitive website on the entire internet. That's a big offer. Okay. So whatever your offer is, make it big and compelling. Rule number 2, be fast or you're dead. So it doesn't matter what your offer is. If you're not being fast, if you're not answering them in real time, then you are in trouble, man.
Yep.
If you didn't know this, the attention span of everyone is very, very small online. So you've got to get them with your big offer. You got to get that hook in there. Yeah, that's what it is. There's nothing wrong with an appealing hook. Get your offer out there, get your hook in, and then be fast. Answer those leads very, very rapidly, fast, in real time, or they're going to go buy from somebody else, period. Rule number 3, this is so simple. It could be rule number 1. Have a great attitude. Let your attitude come through your text messaging. Send happy, smiley emojis. Use positive language. Talk to yourself in the mirror before you start talking to a customer through text message. Because if you're snippy, if you're snappy, if you're short, they're going to leave you alone and go to somebody else. I'm going to throw this bonus in, by the way, too.
Dude, this is awesome, man.
Do not use those brutal. I got one of my assistants in here. I guarantee you she can tell you the most brutal thing you could do is set up some auto response with some third-party lead people. I could name names. Stop doing that. They know it's a robot. Stop it.
Right. Dude, wow. I hope everybody wrote that down. So first off, go get the book. I can't. It's on Amazon. How much is it on Amazon? It doesn't even matter. Just go get it. It's no money.
It's $20 on Amazon. If you order from me directly, you can get it for $10. But here's the thing: like Grant said, if you're worried about the $20, then you don't need the book. There's $1 million in every book, right?
Amen.
Hey, Dave, did that pass your test, man? Did that pass the test? Maybe he can hang around.
Dave, he's probably back on the phones hammering somebody, man.
He's telling somebody. He's using those 3 rules and closing somebody.
I guarantee it, man. I told you that's better than a guarantee.
Hey, there's 20 more rules in there, though.
Is that the first 3?
That's the first 3, man.
Wow. That is so awesome, man.
Then, of course, you got to know how to avoid the mistakes as well. There's some things that you need to not do.
Chad Walker Gay says $20 will make you millions.
Amen. I can testify,
man. So you've got all this. I mean, you got a lot of stuff popping, man. I mean, you're a client of mine now. We're doing some work for you, and you're not always easy to get a hold of.
Right. I'm always on the phone, or I have these calls, these go-to-meetings scheduled. But but here's the thing: if anybody will send me a message through Facebook Messenger, I will respond to it. It may take me, a few hours, but we will get to that because I want to make sure that I get everybody out there the information they need. And hey, man, we haven't even talked about the new stuff, and we probably don't have time now. But
we could. It's the internet, and it's my show. We can stay on here all day if we want. I don't give a crap. Okay. So let's talk about some of the stuff you got cooking. Let's talk about that a little bit if you want. Sure. Whatever you want to talk about. Okay. I'm open to it, but I think I want to back up because I want people to know. I mean. So you went from just a couple of years ago, literally a couple of years ago, you had this idea. You took your last $5,000 and went to Kansas City to a dealership and started working this idea. And now, what do you have now? About another $2,000 or $3,000 left to your name?
Yeah, we've 10x'd it a few times. You know what I'm saying? We can put it in simple terms. The average event costs about $10,000. We're doing, 40 events per week. You don't have to make very much on each event to be doing a lot better, and it's just, It's just math, man. It's just math.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
And we've sold over 10,000 books now, and we don't make money on books, very little. We want to get that information out there. So what we've done, we've built an audience of 12,000 dealers. I'm sorry, 1,200 dealers. And now we've developed a product that the copycats can't knock off, because so far we've got $250,000 invested in this development. You've seen it. It's called the DigiNinja platform. It's an interactive text platform that's going to, change the game.
Dude, I got to tell everybody, my wife, so you and I met, and I met with you and Sarah, and we, developers and all that. And then my wife was introduced to it yesterday, I think, or the day before, maybe, with Sarah. And she gets off that call and she comes to me and she goes, "Oh my God." I go, "What?" She goes, "That I didn't even know what she was talking about." She goes, "The product that Billy Merritt that they've got going on is like," I go, "Oh yeah, I know." She's like, "Oh no, I mean, this is going to be huge." So she's fired up about it, man. It is something else.
Well, I tell you, Sarah's on here. She's got some amazing specialized knowledge, and she's helped me develop this thing, and she has spent countless. No, they're not countless, because I have to write her the check for all the hours she spent on it. So it's accounted for well, but she has to deal with developers. We have onshore developers, offshore developers in India, brilliant people. Tough language barrier. You had to get through that. And I got to be honest, I showed you the product because I wanted you to help me interface this thing with our website and the sites that you're working on for us. Man, I was so scared you was going to run off when you saw all the, all the challenges we had to make this thing come through and be the interface be what we know it's going to be now. So I'm so excited, man, that we get to bring this thing to the masses because
Hey, I'm honored to be a part of it, and I love a good challenge, and so does my wife. That's why she married me. So, so you've got that cooking, you've got a lot of stuff going, but you're also doing the Grant Cardone thing where you're calling on new dealerships every single day. You got people on the phones, right?
Yep. So we actually had to back it down a little bit because as we've scaled to 140 events per month, we got to keep the product, the most effective product. Because that's my pitch to all the dealers. I have the most effective product in the car business. We're going to fill your showroom with people who want to buy cars. In order to do that, my Tex Ninjas, my Digi Ninjas, they have to be on their game. They have to be using those rules. We had to recruit enough people to handle that type of flow. And I got real car guys running this show in here. I got GSMs. I got finance managers. I got BDC managers running teams. I have team leaders. Jamie Lopez is a rock star. He just put 10x on there. Man, that guy is helping me with these people and keeping the product what it is, the most effective product in the car business. So we had to slow down on sales because we can't do 100 events per week right now. We will be able to, but it's, we got to make sure that we are who we say we are.
Yeah.
Because right now we have a 90% re-sign or a 90% retention rate.
Wow.
They come back 90% of the time. They come back for more.
That's incredible. Wow.
We don't lose that.
What's next?
So with the Digi Ninja product that I hope, Sarah, we're going to be able to launch at least in a few dealerships in the next week or so. So by April the 1st, we should be able to take this thing to the market. Okay. And this thing's a solution. My Facebook sales events are the most effective product in the car business.
Yeah.
This software that we've developed is so much better. It's the solution that you need. It is the complete digital sales solution. It creates leads. We work those leads. We train your people on the art of text message selling. We show them how to do exactly what we do. And then we have so many ways to communicate with these people now that we have the lead inside the Digi Ninja platform. At least 10,000 dealers need this. I'm confident we're going to have at least 500 dealers on this program by the end of 2020. If we have 500 people on there, I've thrown some big names around earlier, like KBB. They're going to know. They already know who we are. They know who Buyback Billy is. They're going to. They're already curious of how we do what we do. A lot of people are going to be curious, and thousands of dealers are going to be experience the Digi Ninja revolution.
And it's cool, man. I mean, and let me say again, let me reiterate, I'm not in the car business. I don't know this stuff. But when I saw this, I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me, man. Like, if I was a car dealer, I'd be like, how do we even live without this? Like, seriously, it's incredible. So go ahead. Sorry.
Once a car dealer sees this, once a car dealer uses this, they will not want to do it without the Digi Ninja platform.
No way.
It's the solution. Right. I mean, it's your solution to digital sales, period.
Yep. I agree. So you have, man, your experience, your knowledge, your wisdom, wisdom comes from a lot of pain, right? Yeah. So with you, with all your experience, and I do like to kind of try to keep it around an hour. People don't tend to stay on much longer than that. What do you think the number one thing is? And I always ask every guest this question. Okay. What is the number one thing that holds people back from achieving massive success in their lives?
They don't believe that they can have it.
What's that mean?
It means, like, if you ask, I tell you what, I do this all the time. I have a lot of young people, college age people in here, and I ask them, what are your goals?
Right.
Most of them don't even have a goal, man. You can't have massive success. You can't have massive success if you don't write it down, if you don't know that you want it, And the only reason you don't know that you want it is because you don't believe you can have it. They have been programmed by their parents. I'm not speaking bad about parents. Parents love us. By their teachers, their Sunday school teachers, by their professors, to be average, to be good students, to be good employees, and to not have and to have, I hate this term, and to have realistic goals. That's stupid, man. You need to have big old, grandiose, large goals that you won't give up on.
So the person that I agree with you 1,000%. But you're right. We're programmed to believe a certain thing about ourselves a certain way. To the person that thinks, man, I grew up in a trailer park, and that's the way you live life, and you barely get by. You don't save money because like you just don't do that. To the people that are in that mentality, they want what you're talking about, what I'm talking about. They want that, but they don't, because for the longest time, dude, I couldn't get past that poor mentality because I grew up in a poor family, right? And I couldn't get past that. How do you think somebody can reprogram their mind to get into a different mindset?
I have the answer, man. I'm telling you, and there's no shortcut to it, and it's real. Because I had the same problem, man. I grew up in a trailer. I grew up I mean, you look up Broxton, Georgia. That's my hometown. You know, and I got fed a lot of bad information. But it's real simple, man. You got to tell yourself over and over and over that you have what you want, man. And you need to do that through writing it down. You know, Grant talks about writing your goals down twice a day in the present or in the past tense or in the present tense. I have, 5,000 rental properties, whatever it is. Morning and noon. I say write it down many more times than that. And what we put into our mind, our subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between reality and fantasy. So, if you program your mind with some good stuff, I mean, it sounds wacky, but it's the truth, man. I am so happy and grateful that money flows to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. Say that to yourself 10,000 times and see if it doesn't make a difference.
I totally agree, man. It's exactly what I teach. Exactly the same exact thing, dude. I totally agree. That's awesome. To the guy or gal right now, and this is the last question I have for you, that maybe their car just got repoed. Maybe their electric's getting shut off tomorrow. Been there, bought the t-shirt, wore it out. Yes. But to the people that have been that they're again just hanging on by a string, they can't figure it out. They feel like they've done everything they know how to do. They get you on the phone and they say, Billy, I don't know what to do, man. Like I don't even have a car now. My electric's getting shut off. What do you say to that person to get them over the hump in that moment?
Okay. The first thing you need is some money, right? So you got to figure out how you're going to get it. And there's plenty of jobs out there, right? But you figure out how to get some money, and then you figure out how to increase that. You got to increase. How do you do that? By solving problems, by adding value to the people that are paying you, and they will find a way to keep you around them. You got to just solve problems. You got to be ambitious. Write your goals down and find a way to increase your income.
Dude, amen. And there's ways. Sell something. You got something to sell.
You got it.
Dude, that's freaking awesome. Billy, you've got probably, out of all the people I've known and had on this show and do know, like, your energy is off the charts, man. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I appreciate that, man. It's just, I believe everything that I say. I mean, it's, and I practice it. And we started this show by talking about not being perfect, man. I made some terrible mistakes. I believed in the wrong people. I got rid of the right person, so in business. And I tell you though, the key, man, is surrounding yourself with the right people. Yeah. And thank God, most importantly, I have the right wife and partner who's also equipped to deal with difficult situations, because there's been times when we couldn't see the light, but we just kept grinding, man.
I can totally relate to all that, man. Wow. Anything else you'd like to throw into this? Because I mean, you've poured a lot into a lot of people here, man. Anything else you'd like to leave everybody with?
Again, the optimism. I want to leave it with this. Yes, you can do it. Yes, it's going to be hard, but just be willing to make the sacrifice and go all in. The great thing about going all in with the effort, every morning you get a whole new stack of chips. Just go all in and make the sacrifice.
Amen, brother. I agree. So, best place to follow you on social media is
Billy W. Merritt. And I'm trying to get one of those little badges because there's a lot of imposters. So Billy W. Merritt. And then you can tell with looking at a few of the posts if it's the real Billy Merritt or not.
Wow. Okay. And that's are you on Instagram and
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and I think Snapchat's at Billy W. Merritt with 1 T, but I'm everywhere, man.
Are you on TikTok yet?
No.
Oh, come on, man. You got it. I got to get Billy Merritt. I'm going to be the guy that gets Billy Merritt on TikTok. Mark my words.
All right. I'm ready, man. You got to show me how to do it.
All right. Hey, dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time coming on, sharing so much wisdom with so many people, man. You're awesome.
I got Twitter too, Ramey. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ken.
Appreciate you, man. You guys have a great day. Thank you to everybody who watched and shared this out, and the hearts and thumbs up, everything, man. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Billy, thanks again, man.